podcast. It's just me right now. It's we're running late because Nick slept through his alarms. And I actually called him because he wasn't answering texts. I've been trying to. Normally, what we do is the morning of the show, I start texting everybody about 15 minutes before the show. And Goalie's not on today because Goalie's sick. So uh, I was texting Nick, and because I was kind of distracted getting stuff done ready for goalie. Uh, I didn't pay attention to the fact I texted him several times, but I didn't really click that he hadn't answered me. So that's what happened. Is all that whole time I was texting him to wake him up, it wasn't waking him up. So it's going to be about 15 minutes. So figure I'll just hang out here with you guys. It's going to be rather boring. Uh, Anybody want to join the show? Seriously, anybody want to join the show? Um, I'll let you on, at least for the next 15 minutes. We can sit and chat. We don't have anybody in the chat room again. Another great day. This is just gonna, this day's just going great. So, yesterday I spent the whole day uh, pruning trees over busy roads, which was kind of scary, but we did it. And I have not played a lot of games this week. Hey, C. Wraith, do you have a computer with like a webcam, like your laptop with a camera on it? Just curious. Because Nick is, I just woke him up. So it's going to be 15 minutes because he has to walk the dogs and get dressed and everything. Do you want to join the show for 15 minutes? Just talk, you and me. Just to see. Or anybody else who happens to be listening in the chat. God, I've got nothing to talk about. It's been super. It's been super. Yep, there's our Patreon for our show that's going so well today. Uh, so anybody feel like uh, uh, throwing out a topic? It is an ask me anything. No webcam or shower. I haven't had a shower. Uh, it's an ask me anything. Ask me anything day. I will answer any question, within reason. Uh, and I will, and you know me, I will always, when I say anything, I would venture to answer anything you like. Because I don't want to do the show without Nick being here. Oh, emergency dog cam. Where's the dog? Buddy. Buddy, come here. Come here, bud. Bud, come here. Come here. Come here. Oh, you think something's up. Come here. Come here. It's all right. It's not going to hurt you. Okay. Emergency dog cam. Buddy who needs a bath desperately. Say hi, bud. Hi, bud. That's my dog. Warframe. Fuck you. No. Okay. Uh, Played Warframe lately. I have not played Warframe. I won't play Warframe. Why do I have a thing against Warframe? I think it's because I spent so much time playing it, and then I hit the inevitable wall, the pay to play wall. Then it was fun, but you got to that wall and then you needed to buy. He's that dog. This dog is the king of the side eye. He will give me side eye all the time. Hey, what's the matter? You awkward? Is this awkward for you? Um, you hit that wall that you can't cross without buying platinum. And then the buying of the platinum, I just kind of couldn't bring myself to do because I knew that it was one of those things that you buy a little, then you buy a little bit more, you buy a little bit more, like a little bit more, and then all of a sudden you're $5,000 into this game. And that pay to play wall was really hard to cross. Like it was at a time when microtransactions were such that free to play game producers absolutely had no problem putting up a boundary that you could not cross without paying. And I hit that boundary. And I was like, well, spirit of fair play, I will play a lot of this game and I will overcome my need to pay them for platinum. Well, I played a lot of that game and I realized that they had set the platinum so high and the receipts so low for platinum that there was just no way. You couldn't get it. So I was like, you know what? Fuck this game, and it left a bad taste in my mouth. Then um, the game changed again. It changed considerably. What? It changed considerably again. And then when I went back to play it, the gameplay wasn't as fun as the original, at least as I remembered it. Now, that was one thing that Warframe did have for itself is that the sliding and um, the I believe I had swords, and the swords were just hella fun. But I played the same levels over and over and over and over and over and over again, and then that did it for me, and kind of never went back. So, see, there's Sharon, the came, the dog cam. Soon as Buddy shows up, oh my God, everybody else shows up. Um, so good call on the emergency dog cam while we're waiting for Nick to show up. Uh, AC Wraith says apparently had an unknown pet die this morning. We caught a mouse. I heard it struggling in the trap. Turns out it crawled under the stove to try to set up a gas explosion to take us all out. Yeah. Well, I mean, this is mouse season. It's especially where you are. Wherever it gets cold, and mouses really head indoors. Donnie Eddington says, playing Fallout 76 down now. Love being able to listen to GameHounds also. Hey, good. So you're playing 76. I played a lot more of it than I thought I would. But I wasn't that crazy about it. After a while, I began to realize, like Warframe, there was no end game there except to buy a bunch of shit and build buildings. And it was really hard to get the money enough to be able to buy the buildings without buying stuff, uh, without actually putting money into it. Microtransactions. It's kind of funny. Fallout 76 and Warframe suffered from the same problems as far as I was concerned. Wasn't it, buddy? Fallout 76 and Warframe, same problems. No game, too high a pressure to put onto microtransactions. Why are you having such a hard time standing up? All right. Let me see if I can reseat myself to make a bigger lap for you. There you go. We will angle down more. Okay. There you go. There's my bud. Mwah. Love this dog. I sound terrible? I do? Am I is AC Wraith, is there something wrong with my voice? Because I'm not the one that's sick. Goalie is. Um, I haven't played a while either. I just knew it would set you off to talk. Oh, yeah, you did. You did, AC Wraith. Um, uh, uh, Fallout 7, Warframe. Yeah, I could absolutely talk about Warframe. Um, yeah, Donnie Eddington is playing Fallout 76 on PC and enjoying. I quote unquote just love killing shit. Yes, uh, that gets pretty awesome. But after a surprisingly long amount of time, but eventually gets there, you just get kind of tired of killing shit. And you get kind of tired running around. And there's also an issue of you get kind of tired with other players killing you because eventually you get to a point where all you have is missions that are down in the like southeast quadrant. I forget what it's called, but people are constantly setting off nuclear explosions down there. And that becomes an issue. I actually had that happen where I got caught in the fallout of a nuclear explosion and it killed me. Um, and I had to run back and go get my stuff after the nuclear explosion, which sucked. Um, I was getting attacked by rad roaches and the fallout came because I didn't realize that the fallout expanded all the way out to where I was, which was considerably farther than that valley area that's kind of the constantly getting hit by nuclear bombs. Um, Early morning gargle, not really. I think I'm just being relaxed right now. This is kind of my normal voice. Oh, and the other thing that happened yesterday, while I was uh, pruning trees, my brother was actually up in the lift with the pole saw and the chainsaw. I was on the ground pulling the trees out of the road or the branches as soon as they came down. And reached down, I grabbed a branch and I picked it up, and it was sycamore. So the branches kind of are gnarly. They kind of like fingery all over the place. And I picked one up and I went like that, and one of the little branches went right up my nose and bashed the inside of my nose. I started like I hit myself and I was like, "Oh God, that hurt my nose," and I went like that, and it was just boosh blood. So I fortunately didn't have to go to the doctor to get it cauterized, but I've got my nose kind of. It mostly works, but uh, that bashing it in the nose, in the inside of my nose, and I'm sure there's a giant blood clot up there and a massive scab. Um, that's probably not helping. Hey, there's Nick. Okay. Good morning, sunshine. All right, let's check your levels.
Test, test. Hello.
There we go. I did not have you in the right channel. Now I do. Pissed is in the chat room. Hey, Pissed. So we've got the chat room up and running.
I look at the chat and the first comment I see is honestly sounds like you played wrong.
Let's see, where am I? I'm looking in the chat.
You should be throwing out equipment to
Where?
level up, not buying catalyst reactors.
Where?
AC Wraith, with your 50 free platinum, what you were supposed to buy is slots to have more room for equipment.
Oh, probably. Oh, we were talking about Warframe. Why I don't play Warframe.
Ah.
I just got tired of playing the same maps over and over again and never being able to get to the next planet.
I mean, then it's probably worth checking out because, from what I understand, they added a lot.
We were just talking about that. Same thing
Okay,
with
there we go.
same thing
There we
with
go. See, I'm getting caught up.
okay. Yeah. Same thing with Fallout. I was just saying Fallout 76 is kind of sort of the same way that you,
Did you play 76?
yeah, played a lot of 76.
Oh. Hmm.
I reviewed it for you a number of times, Nick.
I forgot.
Yes, I played a lot of 76. And I didn't hate it, but it I could definitely see why people were pissed off about it because it doesn't seem like there's a game there. But it's kind of
Mm.
fun at the beginning.
Oh, the right. Yes. That sounds familiar. I remember
But
that.
it kind of, I mean, they added, fortunately, they added missions. And if there had not been missions, it would have been I would have been pissed too. But ultimately, the point of the game is to build bases, to build houses, to build your house. And that I probably would have been okay with that, but it in the same way that Warframe was, that you hit a certain point in the game that it becomes almost impossible to continue or to not. You're constantly doing new things, new things, new things, new things. And then you hit a point where you like, you really can't do anything more new without paying money for it. Or you can't really get to the point of the game or get past this gate in the game to get to without paying money. And Warframe was that, where you could keep doing what you had been doing, playing over and over and over and
Mm-hmm.
over and over, like a 5 or 6 maps. But after a while, 5 or 6 maps get kind of boring. And it's the same thing with Fallout, where at a certain point, you can't really go any further without buying the microtransactions, which are cosmetic. But that's the thing. That game is all about fucking cosmetics. It's all about cosmetics. It's having a base. That is the point, is to create in this virtual world and have a base. And it's great if you spend a bunch of money and can create a base that can defend itself and that looks cool and it's got all these features, because that's the thing. It's cosmetic, but it's functional cosmetics. It
Well,
makes
the
a big difference of whether your base is kitted out and can defend itself or it's not.
wait. Are we still talking about Wolfram?
No, we're comparing and contrasting Fallout 76 and Warframe.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? Um, every time there's a sale on PSN, I look at Elder Scrolls Online because it's only $8, and I think I should get that. But then I think, but it's an MMO. But then I think it's only $8, and I have the same argument with myself every single time. So far, I've put it off, but
Well,
eventually my resolve will weaken.
you should do it.
How?
Get it on
But
sale. Don't pay full price.
I just bought The Witcher again
Why should you do that?
because because I didn't have the DLC, and the complete edition was on sale for cheaper than the DLC cost. So I was like, you know what? I like that show. I should play that game again. So I
Oh God,
downloaded
are we
it.
just gonna go over that again?
No, I'm just
Witcher's
saying. I'm just saying. The thing
okay.
I bought during the big holiday sale was Witcher 3 because I wanted some more Witcher in my life.
Yeah. Okay. AC Ray says she thinks Warframe requires microtransactions. It's literally known as the free-to-play game that doesn't require that. You don't need to buy anything to play the entire galaxy. Now you don't. But when I played the shit out of that game, you did. And
I don't know because I downloaded that when the PS4 just came out because it was a free game that you could play.
right.
And I remember getting through a large chunk of that galaxy. Like because all you had to do was beat a level to go on to the next one. Like that
Oh
was the
yes.
progression. but
Yes.
and beating the levels wasn't difficult.
No. At the
Um,
early, that's why I put a lot of hours into it
no,
because I
even
was
later
like,
in the game, like it wasn't super hard. You get a group of people together and you can do most
right.
levels pretty easily. The harder part was finding materials for the mech
Oh,
suits.
that's what it was. I couldn't get better materials. That's
Yeah,
what it was. It's been
like
a really long time since
get
I played it.
going
I knew
through the
that it
game
came
was
down
easy.
to materials, and I
Okay.
couldn't do anything to make myself stronger, better, faster. That's what it was. That, yeah. All right. Anyway, do we want to start the show?
Oh, okay. Have we not started? Just chat. There's the little live button up in the corner.
The audio show? To actually do the
Ah,
show?
okay, okay. I thought you were holding down the fort
I am.
here. I thought you were the early
I
explorer,
just
the
started the
scout. You know, you
I was starting the scout, and now that you are
came out,
here,
planted the flag.
let's do the show. This isn't the show yet.
Okay, okay. Let's do the
All
show.
right.
That's why I just kept going on. I thought,
Shh. All right, mics are hot. Hello and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 529. We are recording this on Wednesday, January 15th, 2020. I'm Edie Sellers. With me is Nick DiNicola. We do not have a Holy Goalie, and we are very late because Nick slept through all of his fucking alarms. How, Nick,
I only
Nick,
had
you
one.
knew Goalie wasn't going to be here. How is it that you
I
did that
thought
to me?
I I thought my one alarm would be enough, but apparently it wasn't. Even when you called and I picked up the phone, my first instinct was to just
Turn it
decline it
off?
because I just assumed to be a spammer because I get a lot of those. Uh, and even when I saw your name, the the gears were turning slowly. Like Edie Sellers, that name sounds familiar. I should probably answer that.
Who's
It's like
Edie?
not a conscious recognition of who you are, just like,
Wow.
oh, I know that name.
My name is Eleanor J.
It's like
Fudd.
I know. Oh, I guess I shouldn't just decline that. Okay, hello.
Nick,
And then
where are you?
by the time I lifted the phone, I was like, oh right, Edie. Oh right, podcast. Oh right, it's 9:37. Okay, gotcha, gotcha. Everything clicked into place.
Yeah. So, we've been actually in the YouTube channel for almost a half hour, Nick. Jeez. Um, and we've just started the Spreaker podcast. If you are on Spreaker and you would like to see us podcasting live video, you can go to YouTube under GameHounds Vids or on Facebook at under the GameHounds. And if you would like to listen to us live and you're on the video chat and you just want to hear our dulcet tones and you don't need to see our ugly mugs, feel free to go to Spreaker. We are live casting on Spreaker, and that is speaker with an R, Spreaker.com under Gamehounds and Gamehounds Podcast. And nobody's in the chat room over there. So video's killing the radio star right now, which kind of sucks. But how are you, Nick? How was your week?
I'm good. Um,
I'm
yeah.
just telling everybody on the chat room already knows. Yesterday, I jammed a stick up my nose by mistake and blew out the inside of my nose. So I think that is probably what's affecting my voice because I can hear it now too.
What?
I was pruning trees, big branch on the ground, picked it up, little like twig at the end of a branch. Twig at the end of the branch went right up my nose and
Just
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 jammed into my nose.
the perfect shot of you lifting and just
Right.
then my first instinct is it's good thing your nose was in the way, because if it wasn't, that would have gone straight into your eye.
Eye. Yeah.
Oh God.
Well, it wasn't this way. It went this way. So my probably wouldn't have gone into my eye, and also have glasses on, but it hurt a
Ugh.
lot and bled.
Yeah, I'll
Oh,
bet.
wow, did it bleed?
Ugh.
I'm standing underneath there. My brother's on a scissor lift 20 feet in the air. He looks down and goes, "Oh shit!" Because it's just, "Bah." Like those anime, like when
Oh
somebody gets a
yeah.
bloody nose or is embarrassed in anime and they get the bloody nose and it's like
Mhm.
like that. That's what happened. It was puking blood. So
Wow.
yeah, but other than that, I'm fine. Just a little blood
Oh,
loss. I'm fine.
I had a birthday on Monday, and I
That's
just hung
right.
out with my
Happy
parents
birthday.
and had Chinese food and played a
How
game.
how old are you?
35.
Oh, you're
And
so
Caitlin got me
young.
this shirt, which I feel is very appropriate.
I don't get old. I level up. Nice. Um. What games you been playing? I did not play. I haven't played a single game. I've been to. We watched his Dark Materials. Kevin and I watched the new Dark Crystal. I told you about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Still haven't gotten into that.
really, really good. And then we ended up watching an hour and a half show of the making of the Dark Crystal. And Kevin
Ha.
never watches the making ofs, but he wanted to watch this one because it was so well done. That is a really, really good show. You should definitely watch it.
One of these days, I will get around that. I'm genuinely more interested in that making of than the actual show, because I would like to see how they mix the puppets and the CG. I think that looks really cool.
Watch the
But
making of. If that's a way that
mm,
you can enjoy it, watch the making of, and then turn around and then watch the whole series.
yeah,
Um,
I don't think I actually started anything new this week. I've just been watching the same things, like The Expanse, uh, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, because that's just a good comedy show. Letterkenny. Now that I got like a super cheap Hulu account, that's sort of like the comedy streaming service
uh
for
huh.
me and Caitlin. We just stream comedy shows. I'm watching Brooklyn. She's watching Letterkenny. Um, but yeah, I
Yeah.
haven't started anything new. Haven't gone back to Netflix. There's a lot of stuff that came out on Netflix that I really want to see.
Yeah, yeah. When we killed off Netflix so much that and Amazon Prime, we had to go to HBO Go. So now we've
Wow.
been going through HBO Go, which
I'm
is we
I'm
did his Dark Materials, which is surprisingly,
it's okay.
s- yeah,
I would put
it is surprisingly
I
okay.
think in terms of like
It's bad. What it is,
new
it's badly edited. It does a, it's a really obviously a really good story. They edit oh, I should say they didn't edit things to make things clear. It's like having all the pieces to the puzzle.
and that's I found it clear. I kind of put them and Witcher on the same level. I think they're both flaws in the way they're constructed, but I think both of them succeed in what they set out to do, generally speaking. But it had a much simpler story than Witcher, and like the fantasy rules were much easier to follow.
His dark when you watched his Dark
Is
Materials?
yes,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
So did
but
you
what
read the
got me
books?
no,
Okay, because that's yeah. All right. I
um,
actually at a certain point I had to go to Wikipedia because I had no fucking clue what was going on. I
really,
still
I
kind of don't understand what's going on.
I got the gist of
It's
all.
the
It
end
was
of the
fine. Yeah,
season. I
yeah.
don't
He told
really understand how the two worlds fit together.
the two worlds.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you mean fit together? There's
I
a
don't understand how they relate to each other.
I don't know. There's a teleportation thingamajigger, and it takes you to another world. It's another dimension.
But then there's a third door that they created and went through.
I think there's more than two worlds, and I'm
Okay,
basing
but then
that. I'm
why
basing
do
that
we have
not
this
based
big
on
story
anything. I'm basing it on
about
the
this
intro.
kid with the crate with the mom with psychiatric problems being chased by this one guy who's in the I don't It's kind of like it's two stories that don't make any
Yeah.
sense or don't connect.
Well, I don't think they connect now, but I think they will. And I think by the time you see them connect, you'll be like, okay, this all makes sense.
Yeah, that's bad. That's really bad. To walk away
Yeah.
from a season going, what the fuck was that about? Thank God in the very last episode they actually explained Dust. Oh,
Yeah.
um,
I don't know. That doesn't seem like something you need to explain right away.
yeah. So anyway,
But
bottom line is,
yeah.
yeah, Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance is way better than.
I just want to see medical police
I'm
because I was a
tempted.
big fan of Children's Hospital back in the Adult Swim days.
I'm very tempted to watch it.
It
I've been hitting By the way, if you watch the new season of Agritsuko,
mm,
you've seen Agritsuko, right?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
I also got a lot of like
By the way, if you're
TV and
not watching
movies.
Agritsuko, everybody needs to
Oh
watch
shit, that's
Oh,
right.
fuck, it's
A-
a funny show.
in the chat, AC Wraith, thanks for the birthday wish, AC Wraith. He dropped a link for Lock and Key.
Mm,
That is what I want to see. Not necessarily
really?
because the trailer's good, but because it's based on a comic series that is very, very good.
Okay.
So if they do the show justice, that'll be an excellent show.
All right.
I love the comics.
All right. So, tell
Games.
games. You
Um.
talk about games. I'm
Okay.
gonna go get some coffee.
So again,
Because I already went through my first fucking cup of coffee
hey, I skipped
waiting for
coffee to
somebody to
get
show
here
up.
sooner. I skipped coffee to get here sooner. That is a sacrifice on my
Wow. All
part.
right. You know what? I let you off the hook of everything. To
Yeah,
skip
good,
coffee?
good. I know, right? See,
Did you brew it? Is it brewing in the other room and you're just gonna
it
get
was
some
already brewed. It's just
later?
it's heating up. I'll take some to work.
Wow. Impressive. Okay. I carry on.
Anyways, what have I played? I've definitely been playing more Death Stranding. Um, I am continuing to enjoy that game, just the general gameplay of it. I think it has evolved in a. Sorry, the pet hair, man, pets. It's everywhere. Um, I'm really enjoying how the gameplay has evolved, or not so much the gameplay because that's stayed the same, but the world changes. The way it's structured, you kind of start in this fairly linear small map, and then you go on to this big map that's supposed to represent the bulk of America that you're crossing. Um, and the way that the environment kind of changes as you progress from right to left, from the East Coast to the West Coast, is really interesting. Um, at this point, I'm in, and I'm gonna expose my ignorance of geography. I think it's the Rocky Mountains, the mountains like just to the east of California, the kind of in the not in the middle of the country, but yeah, just kind of what east of California. I'm up in there now. So I've basically gone from flatlands to mountainous area. And the mountains are big, they are snowy, and in that game, rain it is basically kind of acid rain that will damage any package you're carrying, and snow will do that extra so. So walking through the snow has been a huge challenge. But more importantly, what I think is really cool is in the flatlands, I worked really hard to create a system of roads that would easily take me from one place to another, and it felt really fulfilling to like fight tooth and nail to get across this harsh environment and then build a road and just drive over it all. In the mountains, that's a lot harder because the roads take a lot more resources to build, and the people around me feel like they don't have the same level of resources. So I would have to be ferrying supplies from like way out east all the way west to these mountainous areas, and then I'd still have to deal with driving along these roads. So instead, what I've started doing is creating a series of zip lines. And so I've got like a nice interconnected network of zip lines that just take me through these snowy mountains. And it's super fun to like set out on an expedition to a new area and then carrying like four portable construction things, because that's kind of how you build a lot of your structures. Is you have this little portable backpack and you just drop it on the ground and say, "This is what I want to build." And so I take like four of those with me, and I just set off. And like every 300 meters, I think is the limit to the range of a zip line. Every 300 meters, I plop one down, and then I keep setting off into the unknown. And then 300 meters, I plop one down, and then, sure enough, by the time I get to where I'm going, I've got like a nice zip line network back to the rest of my network. And it is scratching that same itch that the roads did, but because it kind of requires a different thought process and different planning process, it feels like the gameplay is evolving as I go along. It doesn't feel like I'm just doing the same thing over and over again. I think the introduction of a mountainous area that's sort of even harder to pass than anything else adds a lot to that game, and like genuinely forces me to mix up how I approach things. So yeah, the story is still intriguing. I got to a part that involves twins that I almost feel like I want to go look up their names because they have really, really elaborate names, Lockney and Malignan. And I feel like those are names based on some sort of myth, some sort of historical thing, and that they're meant to be allegorical in some way. And I don't fucking know. But
Lockney and
yeah,
Malignan,
Lockney and Malignan.
Malignan,
Yeah,
and Lochne.
I think so. Did you find anything?
No.
Okay, because those feel like the kind of names you do not just make up, especially when the main character's name's Sam, and you have a character named Malignan. I feel like that name is meant to be something special. Um, but the way it handles them and like them reconnecting, like
The
everything
the
else,
only plaything I've seen for Malignan is it's Malig or Mel.
there's like a little weird thing over the eye.
Oh, well, either way, the only thing that I find for Malignan, Malignan, is essentially every scientific paper about cancer where somebody misspelled malignant.
Okay,
Or,
okay.
let's see, it looks like an Indonesian medical paper talking about maligna. Wikipedia Bahasa Indonesia Encyclopedia Bebas. Actually, it looks like that's not Indonesian. What is it?
Oh, here we go. Okay. Oh, actually, I had to look it up on the wiki, but they actually mention this in the game. That's right. That Malignan and Lockney are two impact craters in Sweden thought to have formed simultaneously. And so the parents named them after those craters because they're twins.
In real life?
No, in the game.
In the game.
Oh no, in the
Okay.
game, and no, in real life, I think those
There's the
those are impact
craters.
craters. Yeah,
How
the
are they
craters.
spelled? How's maligna
Uh,
spelled?
Malignen, and
M-A-L.
then
Okay, malignen, not maligna.
okay, and then
And yeah, there we go.
Lockne.
Yep. Malignant crater. Wikipedia. Malig.
Yep.
And I said it's. I was looking up Mali.
Oh,
I don't know. Mel. I was looking up Me. No, maybe I forget what I was looking up. It was essentially
but
the first seven letters of malignant. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, the way it handles the story is kind of, it reaches for a big emotional catharsis, and it's kind of like, yeah, okay, sure, I see what you did there. It's okay. Let's go on. I'm more interested in um the world and its lore and what it's trying to do allegorically than I am in any of the actual characters, because they're okay. It's an I just find the world and all of its weird rules so fascinating that I want to know more. And thankfully, every time you progress a little bit, you unlock a little extra thing in like a database, kind of a Mass Effect style database where you can look up different things about the world.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's been really interesting. I want to see where it goes. I'm definitely going to keep playing. I'm enjoying the heck out of it. It
I
has some
definitely, I really want to buy it, but I don't want to spend the money. Oh,
it,
it
it
kills me.
has it might be on sale now.
Think so?
Yeah, the holiday sale ends on the 17th.
Really?
Yeah,
Maybe I will. How much was it on the holiday sale? Do you remember?
probably like $40. I don't remember exactly.
I might pick it up because I'm kind of needing a game.
Yeah, it's a good long one.
I guess, I mean, I could go back to Kingdom Come Deliverance, but I really, given,
I need to go back to that. I think
pardon me,
about that every now and then. I need
given
to
how
go
much
back to that.
time I spent on it, I
Um,
hate going back.
but what was I gonna say? I, uh, yeah, I forget. I'm digging it. I'm digging the all of the way the online system works. It's actually really cool. When you bring an area onto your network, it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
just download player structures. It downloads the paths that they have taken through the world. And so if players all take the same path, that ends up kind of creating a road through it. And it's not so much that like the environment deforms to fit the road, like rocks will still be in the way, hills will still be in the way, but you will just see like a nice dirt path through the grass, or I'll see, a path through the snow that looks like someone else has walked there. And what that does is it just kind of shows you, hey, this is the ideal route. We know where you're trying to go because a lot of people have gone to the same place. This route will probably take you there fastest. And so at one point, trying to drive a truck filled with supplies through a super rocky area, I was following this twisty, twisty road that took me out. And I was like, wow, that worked really well. It's so cool. Just another way of like fighting through the environment by yourself and then bringing something online and then sort of having this rush of extra stuff from other players is like,
Right.
oh, thank you, thank you, people. I'm glad people exist. I'm glad for help. It's all about, you know, that we're stronger together than we are alone. It's all about creating connections. And the gameplay just really, really facilitates that in a like shockingly competent and important way. It really makes me feel that. No.
So, is this the return to games, to development of Tour de Force that says fuck Konami that
Oh,
it
sure.
needed to
Well,
be?
we can definitely say fuck Konami. I don't
We can
even
always
if
say fuck Konami.
even if this game was awful, which to be fair, some people think it is, and I
Really?
I cannot fault them for that because it's a very slow, very methodical game. It's not at all like Metal Gear Solid. Like if you're expecting sort of an action game like Metal Gear Solid, it's so not that.
Is it
Um,
more like Kingdom Come Deliverance in that it's slow and
yes,
methodical and
yes.
everything takes time
That's
and
why I think you would like it because you like Kingdom Come, and I think Kingdom Come prepared me for this because that was a game that kind of forced me to meet it on its level,
mm-hmm.
and this is very similar to that.
Yeah.
If you can meet on its level, you'll have a lot of fun. And I've wanted a package delivery game, and that's what I got. Uh, oh right, uh, another interesting thing that they've done is they've taken away my bridge baby at the moment. So now I'm sort
Oh.
of going through things blind, for story reasons.
Okay.
Um, but that leads to a
Did
lot
you
of
shake your baby too much?
I might have. It's actually funny. There was a cut scene where a guy is handling my baby. And he's like, "Yeah, no, there's something going wrong with the baby. We need to take it back and reset it." And he's shaking it like I was, and I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." Your first
Don't
instinct,
shake my baby.
your
Nobody
first
gets to shake
instinct,
my baby but me. I'm the only one who shakes the
our
baby.
first instinct is to shake that baby hard.
Yep.
Um, but So that's led to some interesting developments where when I get into an area full of BTs, full of the ghosts, I can't see them anymore. So
Oh.
it's mainly just like I am not going to go in those areas. I'm going to go around them. I have built my zip line thing to go around them. I don't have to deal with them. Um, but whenever I do get stuck in a BT situation, it's really terrifying. And also, it led to some moments of me in a car being like, I'm just going to zoom past these BTs and gun it and ran right into one. And the way they get you out of the car is terrifying
Really?
because whenever you get too close, like this tar like substance bubbles up around you to slow you down, and you have to kind of fight your way through it. And as you're doing that, like tar people will kind of come out and reach out and grab you to try to pull you down. When it's your car, like those tar people all come out and grab the wheels to slow it down, and then they reach up to actually open the door and rip you out of the car.
Oh
And
my
it's like,
god.
oh fuck, this is terrifying. And then if they catch you, you get into like a huge boss fight with a giant tar creature. Um, but yeah, Death Stranding. I'm enjoying the hell out of it. I bought a couple other games, smaller things on sale at the on the winter sale. And so once I'm done with this, I'm looking forward to getting into just like a nice smaller sci-fi adventure.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, any other games, mobiles or anything?
Playing more Dear Reader. I know
Mm-hmm.
that was the game that sort of takes classic books
Right.
and does a lot of wordplay mini games around them. And actually, I was really upset at the time because the language of Pride and Prejudice was so confusing that it made for a good puzzle to try to solve, like put words in the right order. And it was a little annoying because even when I put them in the right order, it didn't seem like the right order because the old stuck up British language they were using is very unlike casual English that we talk now. So it didn't feel right putting an of before a word or the way that worked.
Right.
But now that I've beaten Pride and Prejudice and I've gone through a whole bunch of other books, man, those old timey authors always fucking uh, they put words in the wrong order. It feels like it's like, God damn you people. What was the other game? The other book that really fucking threw me off. It wasn't like Pride and Prejudice and Jane Austen. I now look back and like I was a little harsh on you. It's actually everyone of your time. Like Wuthering Heights threw me off a lot. Dorian Gray also threw me off a lot. Dorian Gray was at least a little bit more straightforward, but there were like some sentences that were just like, I don't know, why did you put these words like this? The Raven at least was fun because it was a poem and it made sense why things would
Mm-hmm.
be weirdly put together. But yeah, Dear Reader, super fun. Oh,
Uh,
and I did just briefly. I haven't played a lot. Lego Builder's Journey, which is another Apple Arcade game.
mm-hmm.
It's kind of like Monument Valley out of Legos. You get a little 3D playset, and so you have a parent on one side, and like a little Lego backpack kid, like little Lego kid with a backpack on the other, and you kind of have to put pieces in place to allow the kid to jump across the level to get to the parent. And it's done. In the video, you should skip ahead a bit, get to the actual game. This is just like showing you how to build.
Is that it?
Keep going, keep going. This is just like making a nice little scene. Yeah, so this is it. So like in one level, you have a mud area that will sink, and you kind of have to pick up these pieces and just move them around uh, the level in a way that allows the kid to move. And it gets more complicated as it goes on, with you having to build more elaborate structures that he can jump on, and not just having him jump on like trees and stuff. but it's a shockingly sweet game. And the fact that they've made this little like Cub Scout type of kid out of just Lego pieces, I think is really cute. Um, and so yeah, in terms of Apple Arcade games, um, another free game to play. I've really enjoyed it.
All right. So, are we ready to hit the
Not
news?
at all, but let's do it.
All right. Let's hit the news. Stand by. And oops, let's hit the news. This is the GameHounds news, the news, views, and commentary of the week of game. Try that again. News, views, and commentary of the week in gaming with Gamer Edie and Nick DiNicola. And our first item is. Our first item is Nick. Nick.
Um,
Nick.
Epic Games, when they first started the Epic Game Store, they made a big deal about giving away a free game each month. You know, as a way to kind of goose their user base, get people on, and apparently they will be continuing to do that all through 2020.
Uh huh.
So yeah, if
Yeah,
you if
and
you
I
are
heard
signed up
that
for the Epic Games Store, like expect at least 12 other quality free games, and
and
it kind of
690 million apparently they made last year, and they said that the key, one of the big keys to it having been so successful, were exclusives. So they're going to pursue more exclusives for next
mm,
year.
yeah, exclusives work.
So, yep, exclusives work. And 690 million, I mean, crap. I think you and I
Yeah,
need to start a store. The Game House store.
yeah.
Ookie bookie
Spooky,
spooky.
spooky, exclusive to the GameHounds store.
Yep. All right. So E3, now that it's the new year, everybody's thinking about E3. Very interesting developments this week that came out both, I believe, either yesterday or Monday. I believe no, it was Monday. All of a sudden, both of these things hit. First, Phil Spencer confirmed that Xbox is going to attend E3 2020. That makes, and he did it by a tweet. He said that our team is hard at work at E3. We look forward to sharing with all who love to play what's ahead for us. Our art form has consistently been propelled by the cross section of creativity and technical progress. 2020 is a milestone year in that journey for Team Xbox. So they're going to be at E3, which uh, is good and expected, considering that they are going to be announcing probably at that point as many of the details as they possibly can about the next iteration of Xbox, the next gen.
Hmm.
That being said, on exactly the same day, Sony said it's going to skip E3. And they said through GameIndustry.biz that, yeah, they're not going. Um, the quote is, quote, after thorough evaluation, Sony has decided not to participate in E3 2020. And this was a Sony spokesperson said. We have a great respect for the ESA as an organization, but we do not feel the vision of E3 2020 is the right venue for what we are focused on this year. So Xbox is going to be there. Sony says you don't have the right vision for us. It's kind of notable simply because Microsoft is going to be obviously letting a lot of stuff out of the bag um, at E3 about the next Xbox. Do we have a name for it yet?
Yeah, it was the
Yes, it's the
Xbox Series
Xbox.
X.
Yeah, it's the Xbox. um, and the PlayStation 5, they're not, they're may or may not be releasing um, information at that time. That may affect how much in how the fact that Microsoft is going may affect how PlayStation responds. The fact that PlayStation isn't going to have a big E3 presence may affect how Microsoft, what information they release. If PlayStation doesn't have a big like live PlayStation Live, or its own event or online event the way that Nintendo does at these at E3s, because they used to go to E3 and then they started doing the in Nintendo live video streams. If PlayStation does the same thing, then maybe Microsoft is going to still release the same amount of information. It may be that Microsoft releases all of its information and kind of forces PlayStation to show its cards before it's ready. Here's the chess game. This is
Yeah.
this is the biggest every 4 year, 4 to 5 year chess game that happens in the consoles is
By
who's
the
going to
way,
release what information when and where.
you still got the Lego Builders Journey tag on the
I
stream.
do. Thank you.
Um, but yeah, thinking about them, I at this point I feel like Sony isn't going to be pressured into doing anything. Like they seem willing to just kind of go about things. Like most of the news that we have came from an interview with Wired. Like I feel like they've expressed an extreme disinterest in playing along any of the normal hype lines.
They did a pretty good response in the PS4, by responding. And they may be trying to
But
do
that's because
that
they
for.
also had something to respond against and they knew what they were responding against. In this
Right.
case, because they don't, it's mainly just like, you know, they can't respond to anything. And so
Yeah, they're
it's
not responding right now, but as plays, and they may be setting themselves up to
purposely
be
waiting for
in
Microsoft to go first.
purposely waiting for Microsoft to go first so they can respond to it. Because I mean, remember last gen, it was remember the video that they released after Microsoft
Yeah,
said that you can't share games, and it's like, how do you share a game on PlayStation? And I handed somebody a
yeah.
disc. And remember that they said, "Oh, we're expanding our friends list to
But I would,
four
I
hundred and 99 or 999." And PlayStation's like, "Our list is 1,000."
I don't
So,
think they expect to do that again because that stemmed from a lightning in a bottle fuck up on the part of Microsoft,
oh
and I
yes,
don't think you can expect them to do that again. That would just be
I
bad
know, but
business.
they might be waiting for that moment to see if they can do it again, if they can play
Maybe.
gotcha.
I mean,
If you,
either way, I think they're coming from a position of strength, and so it behooves them to not show their cards in the same way Microsoft is. Microsoft wants to sell to you. Microsoft wants you to get excited. Like they need to hype you up because even though the Xbox has sold really well, um, in perception, they're coming from a place of perceived weakness. Like they are trying to catch up to Sony in perceptions and opinions. And a lot of what they've done this generation has been to fix that.
mm-hmm. Yeah, but E3, even though PlayStation won't be there, it's going to be very interesting to watch how
Oh, it's going to be
this game
interesting
of
to look at.
cards.
Oh, I was thinking just E3. It's going to be interesting to see E3. Do you remember like after E3 last year when that PowerPoint leaked of them thinking of what they should do, and they're like, we should invite a bunch of influencers over and have like different sections, different domes of like influencer domes, and you could have this over here. We want to really emphasize the FOMO of it all, and it's like, oh god, you know what? Maybe Sony's just skipping it out of embarrassment.
Maybe, or I doubt it. I doubt it. There's too much on the line. But it's gonna be,
Also, maybe they're
this is
skipping
the
it.
soap opera. This is soap
Maybe they're
opera meets
skipping it
Game of
because they don't
Cards
want the
meets.
personal information of all their employees leaked again.
Mm-hmm. Possibly.
Basically, there's a lot of reasons to skip E3.
There's a lot of reasons to skip E3 because one, it's not as important as it has been, and
I mean,
two,
I
it's
think that's
really
the main
fucking
reason.
expensive. It's really expensive for these things.
Yeah. Like I'll bet that Sony's either gonna drop some news around the same time or like a week, a couple weeks before, a couple weeks after they just have their own event where they can
Hmm.
kind of own the news cycle.
Maybe,
It's the same
maybe
thing
it depends. It depends on what. Honestly, it all
EA's
depends
doing.
on what's going to happen. right now, simply by Sony not going and Microsoft going, Sony is by default in the response mode.
Yeah.
Microsoft will be at E3. They will have to say something. They can't just not talk about it. They have to make big reveals at E3. So
Yeah.
that automatically sets Sony up to respond.
Mm.
And so they, as much as you say it was a lightning in a bottle, once in
Well, that's
a
because they're not gonna.
lifetime chance that Microsoft's going to fuck up. It's exactly what Sony's doing. Is it's like, okay, let's just make sure they don't fuck up, because if they do, we're going to pounce on them.
Yeah, hey, that's a fair tactic.
And it may be that Sony has a video at the same time as Microsoft. Who knows? But
Hmm.
right now, they are in the position of responding. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Um, where are you in the console war? You've got a new console coming out. We are going to get our current consoles have a limited shelf life of less than 365 days right now. You and
Yeah.
I both will be buying a new console at the end of the year. No question. Here's the thing. Do you have brand loyalty? You don't even own a Microsoft Xbox, right?
No.
Yeah. Do you have a brand loyalty at this time to Sony?
It's not so much brand loyalty as it is. That's what my fucking games are.
Right.
Right. I bought Witcher. I bought that's on PlayStation. What was it? The Star Wars games on PlayStation. I got the Need for Speed game that I haven't played yet. That's on PlayStation. Basically, all the games that I've bought over this generation digitally are on PlayStation, and so I'm not gonna just throw that away if I don't have to. I would
Mm-hmm.
prefer to be able to keep that backwards compatibility, and so that's the biggest hurdle. It's not inertia, um,
It is a little bit
momentum.
momentum. Yeah, it's a little bit of
Yeah.
inertia that you're harder to move off of
Oh yeah, like
Sony simply
I'm
because.
on this road and it's taking me forward, and it's like, well, I could go off of them, but it's just safe. I'm just gonna stay here.
Now
That's the
you're
main reason, and
right.
like that, and also because like it, if it's backwards compatible, like the in the big way they say, that would be a good draw. But like honestly, they're gonna be at least $500 each, and if the whole bullshit tariffs are still in effect, they might be even more. It's not the kind of time to buy two consoles. Like that's a lot of money. Um, like I said, if anything, I'm tempted to just get a super cheap Xbox S just so I can have Game Pass
Yeah.
because that's all I want. I just want those Game Pass games.
Yeah, I can see that.
Also,
Uh
I'm significantly running out of outputs on my TV.
yeah. Yeah. That is such a thing right now. Holy crap, is that a thing?
Hmm.
Um I'm I'm going to keep my PS4. I have a PS4 and an Xbox 360. No, an Xbox One.
Yeah, you have a
Yeah,
one. Yeah.
one. I have both signed up. I'm not as I am more agnostic than you right now. Even though I have a shit ton more games on my PS4 because I keep both of them connected, and there's back back I'm not so worried about the backwards compatibility. I'm not going to throw away my PS4.
Yeah.
I'm going to go where the best deal is because I have a huge friends list on my PS4. I also have my existing huge friends list that I made back on the 360 and never expanded because I never played more than maybe 4 or 5 games tops total on my Xbox One. I think I maybe played 2 or 3 games in the entire time I have owned the 360. So I may actually skip over to the Xbox Xbox, I may. It depends on what they offer. I'm
Yeah.
going to go for whatever is the best box. That being said, um, I'm it's so funny how last year's mistake by Xbox when it came to the Xbox One has not only affected this generation, it's going to affect generations to come because that was a reset. Without backwards compatibility, it was
Hmm.
everything was on the board. And at that time, I had zero friends on the PlayStation Network. Now, because of this, the PlayStation is now a viable choice for me for the future. If I had never gone over to the PlayStation 4, I would never consider going over the PlayStation 4 because I didn't have any friends over there.
Yeah.
Now I've got friends both places. So now I can choose either one and be perfectly happy. I won't be losing friends.
And
And
that was
that's
kind
a
of the
mistake that is going to dog PlayStation or dog Xbox for the rest of, well, until they don't have another console that doesn't have backwards compatibility.
yeah, and that was kind of what was so interesting about that
And it's not just
the
that, it
last
has to be
console launch
mutual backwards
is
compatibility.
yeah, because they were both not backwards compatible, uh, and both previous consoles were like the 360. You could play Xbox games on 360, and you could play PS2 games on
Right.
PS3. At least at launch, you could. Um,
So there was
because
only one thing that was keeping us there, and that was the friends list. And they fucked it up so bad that I was willing to go to a different console without friends and
yeah,
develop my
well,
friends list.
no,
That is a
no,
fuck up
that's
that's
not
going to
true.
last for literally the next
No, but
25
that's not
years.
true. You weren't going to a new console with zero friends. You were going to a new console with all of your friends because everyone was like, "Oh, I
That's
don't
true.
want this cable
All right,
box."
all of our friends left. True.
Like that was what made it
To the
so
point that I bought an
that's
extra
what
we
that's
bought an extra box to give to our one friend who couldn't
yeah,
afford the new console.
see, that's what I mean by lightning in a bottle is that there were
Yeah.
like several fuck ups that
True.
kind of all linked together into this single giant storm. And you can see they're not going to repeat that this time because they've already said, "Hey, it's like all backwards compatible."
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I'm just interested to see what they do.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think both consoles. Like, you want my hot take on all this? Both consoles are going to be really good.
Both consoles are going to be really
Yeah,
good.
that's my hot take. They're both gonna be good. They're both gonna be so similar in power that whatever differences there is not going to be seen in any real significant way or felt. You're not gonna feel like you're missing out on some experience, some super new feature if you get one over the other. Um, yeah, they're both gonna be pretty good.
Um, BioWare apparently teased a Mass Effect 1, which is an
A
odd
remaster,
thing.
like a re, it
Um,
must be a remaster.
yeah, they're hinting at a remaster of the Mass Effect 1, which BioWare.
That I think that's kind of disappointing, if only because it's been so long. I would hope that they'd put out like a trilogy,
Yeah,
in the way that BioShock kind of has their BioShock collection. Put
right.
out like a Mass Effect collection that just has all three of those games instead of making you buy each remaster
Even
again.
so, it's like it's like a I don't want to say one hit wonder because they weren't a one hit wonder, but it's like
No,
somebody
they every game they made was a hit. It was great.
right, but it's like somebody who has was super, super hot and super popular from the 80s who comes back to try to make themselves relevant again. It's like, hey, remember that hit I had? Remember that hit? Remember that thing you loved about me? And it's like, you're 40 now. Don't. You can't dress in your, spiral perm and your pink hot pants as a 40-year-old. It just doesn't work. And it's like you've got to evolve.
It's like
And
seeing Limp Bizkit live, seeing a 40-year-old
yes,
Fred Durst.
yes, Yes, like Limp Bizkit playing all your
Seeing
favorite
a
hits of the
seeing
90s.
an old middle-aged Fred Durst be like, "Yeah."
That's right. 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 Or Vanilla Ice. Like Vanilla Ice coming back. And it's like, yeah, Vanilla Ice was great. And it was, it's some great songs, but he's still playing the same songs.
I
And
don't know. It
that's what
doesn't
this
seem.
is. It's so sad to see them have to like make news by remastering Mass Effect 1.
I don't know. I don't
It's
see it
like,
as that bad
guys,
because
just
it
make a good
it's
game right now.
this feels like it's inevitable, right? Like those were popular games on the last generation. I'm actually surprised it took them this long to get around to remastering it for this
I am too.
generation. It
Sorry
seems
about
like
the
a
glare, by the way.
natural.
It's really it's that
Yeah, I
time
see
when
that.
the neighbor's window goes into the window that's right above my screen. So I got to move over here. Hi.
Yeah, it seems like a natural move enough. I'm surprised it took this long. I don't. It doesn't seem quite like a sad, old aging rock star playing the old hits type of thing.
It it wouldn't if they hadn't had to reboot at least once that we know of the games that everybody's waiting for. Like, it'd be one thing if Dragon Age was still in the works instead of like, hey, everybody, everything we just spent the last 2, 3 years working on Dragon Age, we just threw that away and we're starting over because it was so bad.
Oh
It's like,
yeah.
they're trying so hard to stay relevant. And it's like, guys, oh, it's so sad to see
So wait,
this
did they?
powerhouse just embarrassing itself.
Who's actually working on the remaster? Is it BioWare? Are they doing the remaster? That seems like not something they would do because they are working on Dragon Age.
I don't know if all they did was tease the remaster. They didn't have any details about who's doing
Oh,
it or any
okay.
of that. It's
Because
just
it's
was
probably
a
it's
tweet that teased that there might be a remaster of Mass Effect 1.
because BioWare is probably not making that remaster. It's probably a third-party studio doing it.
No, it's
Because
probably a
that's
third party
usually how
studio.
these things
But
work.
they're trying to promote something that they made in 2007. Or I should say they made it way earlier than 2007. So they're touting their work from 2005. It's like, ugh, guys,
Yeah, that's
just
because Mass Effect was a good game.
right. And they're trying to recover from the fact that they made, well, Mass Effect,
Two very bad
Andromeda,
games.
and then what was the other one that was really bad?
Anthem.
Anthem. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Is that yawn intentional after mentioning Anthem?
No, no, but that was well timed.
That was a well timed yawn. um. Yeah. It's just. Oh, guys, you're. God, it's so sad. It's just so sad.
Don't expect Dragon Age to be good.
I know, and
Like it's not going to come out for like 3 years, and whenever you do see it, just remember it's not going to be good.
yeah,
Just
and
don't
that
get your hopes up.
really, really, really hurts so much. Um, because
It's like
like that one stings for me because Dragon Age is my game. That game is my jam.
like
And
watching The Hobbit and realizing, "Oh, this is not Lord of the Rings 2."
mm-mm.
It's that slow realization of, "Oh man, the same guy who did Lord of the Rings is coming back to The Hobbit. This is awesome." And then by the time you're watching the second movie, you're like, "This this is like not super good." And then you watch the third movie and you're like, "Wow, this is bad.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you made one of the greatest trilogies in all of film history, and then you made this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why?" Yeah. Hey,
So,
production is hard.
production is hard.
I have respect. Like, there's a lot of bad, like, big budget movies out there. I saw Rise of Skywalker a couple weeks ago, and boy, boy, that's bad. But you know
Really.
what? Like, understanding the production history is rough. The production of games is even harder. Uh, there's actually an article on Polygon that just went up that was like every game is held together by duct tape, and they really are. So I've got sympathy when it goes bad. I tease and I make fun of Anthem all the time because it really is a bad game, but I got sympathy for the people that were forced to work on what they knew was going to be a bad game because like they lived through that production hell and they knew this is not going to be good. We're going to get torn to pieces for this. God damn it. Like, oh, what a disheartening, soul crushing experience that must be to have to come into work every day and work your heart out on something that you know is shit.
On that same note, very similar feeling. That glare is killing me. On that same feeling, GameStop.
No.
Uh, so, earnings call from GameStop this week, and it turns out that they were anticipating, okay Christmas fourth quarter. It turns out that their global game sales and video game retail chain over the 9-week holiday season was 1.8 billion, which sounds like a lot, except it's down more than 25% from 2018. So,
Yeesh.
yeah, 25%. That's huge. A 25% drop year over year in the holiday season is massive. So, they were not expecting problems prior to the holiday. They figured they'd bounce back a little bit or at least stay even. They didn't even stay even. They dropped by a quarter. Um, the quote from them was, "We expected a challenging sales environment for the holiday season as our customers continue to delay purchases ahead of anticipated console launches in late 2020." So they knew they were going to have a challenge because everybody's kind of not buying right now because there's a new console next year. And even so, with their they knew they were going to have trouble. Even with that anticipation, he said, this was CEO George Sherman said, however, the accelerated decline in new hardware and software sales coming out of Black Friday and throughout the month of December was well below our expectations, reflective of overall industry trends. And that may be true overall across the industry. However, um, not a lot of other entities within the industry are literally on the precipice of going out of business, of going, of running out of cash. According to some analysts, they expect that GameStop now has less than $1 billion in reserves, which sounds like a lot. But when you're talking about a big company like that, $1 billion of cash reserves is not a lot. And they
Uh,
anticipate if they expect that that has dropped by at least 20%. So they are less than, in the $750 million range of having cash reserves, which can disappear very quickly when you consider all the things that are drawing on those cash reserves, like payroll and healthcare and all
yeah,
this other
do they
stuff.
know, like, do they have an estimate of how long that $1 billion will keep them up?
Well, it all depends on how much money's coming in. Like, 'cause that's the way it works, is that you've got a bank account, you got to pay all of your stuff through, and then you've got income that's coming in, and it all depends on what's happening with this income and at this current sales. Nobody's actually, I didn't see anywhere there was an estimate that if sales continue to remain declined by 25% from their anticipation, which is a
Yeah.
big leap. Hard to say, but
I
they're
don't know. I feel
they're this
like
is they're
it,
they're circling the drain, and then there's literally plummeting towards it. This was one of those moments where it started to plummet. Now the question is, are they going to continue to circle, or are they going to get a cash infusion from someone else?
I don't know who would give them money at this point.
Yeah, one analyst actually quoted in the news said that their shares, by the way, tumbled as soon as they said that. They dropped by 13%. They're currently at $5.40, whereas what was it? In January they were at $16. Now they're at $4.93 per share. So they've lost a lot of share value. um let's see, where is it? Somebody called it a zero terminal value, which means that you might pay money for it right now, but its end value is going to be zero. That's almost
Oh,
like saying it is a death knell.
basically, don't jump on the stock thinking that it'll go back up and you'll make a lot of
No, do
money.
not jump on the stock going back up.
Yeah.
We anticipate when all of this settles out, when all said and done and all the, the fluctuations and the instability actually settle out, that will be worth zero, which is like saying
So
it's going to go out
basically,
of business.
all GameStop will stabilize because it will be dead.
Yeah. Michael Pachter gave it a hold rating, which means don't sell, but hold it with if you pay for it for $4, hold. Hold it there. That's
I
your
mean,
criteria.
I guess yeah, if you had it, you could hold it and hope that maybe it goes back up a little bit and sell it. But yeah, I mean they've been
Here we
it's been
go.
a slow decline for so long. I
Mhm.
don't think they could reasonably expect it to jump back
Jump
up.
back up. Benchmarks Mike Hickey said deteriorating financial momentum has accelerated. Management appears to have abandoned accountability, and we see zero terminal value. Expect ongoing weakness over the next several quarters as digital distribution for games cements its grip on player purchase behavior. He says, sell it. Others are in the hold
Yeah,
rating. And the
that
only
sounds
reason
better.
why they're even saying hold, and I can guarantee you this is what GameStop is thinking. We need to hold out until holidays 2020 because that's when the new consoles come out and that's when we possibly could get people there because you can't buy games, you can't buy consoles. I mean, you can, but you can't buy consoles by digital distribution. You have to go somewhere for the consoles. So you're going to go to GameStop, and that's what we want to do. We want to get you to buy your console at GameStop on in holiday 2020. If they don't dominate console sales in holiday 2020, they're going out of business because games don't sell through GameStop anymore. Their only hope is hardware. And this is a big hardware push right now. So GameStop has 1 year. That's my call. And unless they figure out some way, and here's the thing, I hate to say it, but you might want to watch GameStop very, very carefully for buying your next console because they're going to be doing everything in their power to make sure that you buy that console at GameStop. And here's the thing, GameStop really can't afford to give you cash. It's going to give you things that don't actually cost it anything. Whereas everybody that's competing with GameStop, namely Best Buy, Amazon, everybody else, is going to want to put GameStop out of business. They're the ones that actually have the cash to offer you good deals to match whatever GameStop's offering. So it's an interesting predatory environment that we may be able to may be able to
Exploit.
actually exploit and get the best deal. I think that there's going to be massive deals at launch, more than you have seen in the past when there's been a console launch. Because there's always, console launch, but it takes usually a Christmas or two before they start to really like offer you 5 free games with the purchase of a console and 20% off. And you get a free membership that, with this card that gives you 10% off or 20% off future games for the next year, that kind of stuff. That usually doesn't happen at launch. This year, those things are going to happen at launch, at least for GameStop. And if GameStop's doing it, then everybody else, if GameStop offers something very, very cushy, everybody else is going to try and pile on to match them or do better to keep people from going to GameStop to buy their consoles.
You know what I think is funny?
Hmm.
I don't think I bought the PS4 through GameStop.
I did buy PS4 through GameStop. I bought
I
it at Best
got
Buy.
it. I got it at Amazon, and it shipped here on day one.
Yeah. And I bought mine at Best Buy.
I didn't get the PS4 Pro at GameStop.
I
I
have
bought,
not bought anything from GameStop in literally a decade.
Yeah, so I don't think the console launch will be the boost they hope it is.
Well, that's what they're telling themselves.
I also don't think they will even make it that far. I'll be surprised if they do.
Well, Mike, the best quote unquote, the best analyst in the gaming world is Michael Pachter. He's good. He's been following it longer than everybody else.
Hmm.
He was a video game industry analyst before everybody else had a video game industry analyst, before anybody even, most of the financial sectors actually looked at video games being a viable investment. Now they're actually seeing it, once Grand Theft Auto hit, $1 billion in sale, or $1 billion in sales in the first month. Then all of a sudden people are like, oh, hey, maybe we should worry about investments in video game companies and video game stocks. But Michael Pachter says, has it listed. What did he list it? I believe he listed it as a hold. Let's see. Even though GameStop has and his analysis is, even though GameStop has expected a challenging had an even though GameStop had expected a challenging holiday, the decline seen in the new hardware and software sales was well below expectations. He reiterates an outperform rating and a street high price target of $8. So he's saying buy, actually. Once GameStop is debt free, the short thesis begins to deteriorate. The upcoming, which means shorting means that you are betting that it's going to go down. It's kind of like betting bust on a craps table. Um, the upcoming launch of the new video game consoles is seen as a positive catalyst. So he seems to think that the new consoles are going to help, and he's like, "You might want to buy. I think it's going to go up at the end of the holiday season." This is Michael Pachter. Everybody else is either saying hold or sell. He's saying it's going to buy. So who knows? And
I
this,
won't.
we will see. We will see who's right. Certainly,
Personally, I'm rooting for them.
by this time next year, we will know who's right.
I'm rooting for them to die.
I'm
They
rooting for them to die.
they killed Think Geek. They deserve to die.
They killed Think Geek. They abused. Here's this thing about making slaves of people: is nobody is willing to be loyal to you.
Hmm.
They they abused their employees. They abused their customers for years. If they had only treated us like partners instead of cash cows that they were willing to milk past the point of comfort, to the point of where they created absolutely unfair because they were the only game in town. This is what happens to bad people. Bad people eventually get their just desserts. And GameStop, I don't think there's a single person out there in this world that could argue that GameStop was a good company. They weren't. They treated nobody well except their executives.
Hmm.
AC Ray says the only time I bought a GameStop was actually at a recently purchased electronics boutique.
I
Yeah, that's
remember
true.
EB
They
way
they
back in the
killed
day.
Electronics Boutique, which was a great store. That they had so many like PC games, and oh, I loved Electronics Boutique. They killed that.
What is funny, because I was actually just on Think Geek looking at like how it changed. And what's strange, and I think this is like indicative of any business.
Mm-hmm.
GameStop buys Think Geek, right?
Right.
And then they changed Think Geek to not sell the things that it was known for selling, but instead just become basically a portal for GameStop.
Mm-hmm.
Why then spend the money to buy Think Geek if you're not actually like I went to that site for like cool little custom things, like different games, different gadgets that make good presents and things like that. You don't get that now. It just I don't understand that tendency in I don't know capitalism to buy a business and then gut it into something completely different and then try to show that off. It's like, what did you think was going to happen? If, like, you buy a popular thing and then you change it, uh, people aren't going to like it again. Why? It blows my mind. It
Yeah,
blows my mind.
it does. It blows my mind too. So if you can
Why buy
see, I'm gonna
something
try
and then
and
try to change it into something it's not?
yeah, I'm gonna try and zoom in on this so that you can see it. Hold on. Okay, can you see that?
Yeah.
All right. And this is a link, that link that I just put up that is out of it. GameStop comparable store sales growth. And if you look,
When did consoles launch?
when did
The
PlayStation 4?
PS4? Oh,
What was
excuse
it,
me. Was
4
it
years
like
ago?
2013?
I
It was
think.
longer than that.
Has it been longer than that? Hey, go chat room. When did PlayStation 4 launch?
2013.
It was 2013. Okay. So you can see that 2007, the sales, stores, the sales growth, and this is comparable stores, meaning that they were how each of the stores were actually selling. They were up 20%. They were up 10%. Then when 2009, they went down 8.6%. 2010 up 3.4. They were even. 2011, 2012 they dropped a little, and that makes sense because there was a new console coming out. Something must have come out in 2010. Was it the Wii U?
Maybe.
Something came out that everybody was holding back, and then they came in, and then something was going to come out in 2012, which was all PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, and then it went
No,
up
Wii
10%
U.
because of the new console.
Wii
Then
U launched in 2012.
so it
Um,
launched. So all three of them launched then. Okay. So down 3.1% because of course everybody just bought all their consoles. Um, Up a little bit, growing a little bit, down 18%. I think that's when they started closing stores.
oh, that could be.
And then they had a rebound because of course they were now not paying all that money out for stores.
Or hang on. Um, when was that? Oh no, the PS4 Pro launched in 2016. Yeah, I don't understand this chart at all. I don't know what the.
Yeah. But you can see how bad their holiday was this year. By
Yes.
comparison, I mean, it is overly, you can see this line on the far right is way longer. It is a huge drop, 24.7% drop. And I'm going to look at GameStop. Let's see. I'm reading from Motley Fool, which they're all right. um, Console purchase delays explain only some of what's going on. The current generation PlayStation 4 and Xbox One launched in 2013. GameStop's holiday comps comparisons in the previous year weren't great. It was down 4%, but that they were far from disaster. Um, let's see. God, this is way too long an article to read. But bottom line is
No.
GameStop's really suffering. And I think that right now,
Yes.
the only thing they're doing to hold on is to get to 2020. Because if you go back to this graph, you'll see that they bounce back when there's a new console launch. They take a little tick up because people are buying consoles, and this is what they're hoping for. But the thing is, it's going to be real hard to bounce back from being down by 24%. So, uh, and even if they make even if that line doesn't come back up, zero
It'll
on
just go down
that
again
chart,
eventually.
zero of that chart is 24% below what they had the previous year because it's comps year over year. It's a drop from your current, from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, or the beginning of the holiday season to the end of the holiday season. And then So if you have like a down 24% and then your next line is 0, it means that you're still down 24% from what you were the year 3 years ago.
No, so that feels like a misleading chart then.
Well, 0, you have to have 0 set somewhere. A 0, 0 is year over
Well,
year.
yeah, but that just makes it kind of misleading because it shows that baseline. And
The
then what
base,
you're saying is the baseline is ever changing, which would mean
right. The
that
base year line, the baseline is the comparison of year over year, 1 year to 1 year, not
okay,
an actual sum total money. Like if you saw the sum total money that they're making, it's going down like this the whole time. If you actually saw
yeah.
revenues, but
Don't buy it.
someday,
Just
some
don't buy it.
years,
Don't
and
buy
it's
the
it's
stock. Don't
essentially
listen to Pactor.
just that chart is measuring not the amount of money they make, positive or negative. It is actually measuring the rate of decline. It's not the decline, the amount of decline. It's the rate of decline. So
Don't buy
it's showing an
GameStop.
acceleration. It's a second derivative. Sorry. Am I getting into too
Okay.
much math for you? It's a second derivative.
No, no,
It's
that makes sense. But I think
it's not the rate of decline. It's the rate of the rate of decline.
no, knowing that that entire chart just looks like yeah, they're just all fucked. They're all fucked.
They're fucked.
I don't know what Pactor is thinking saying buy. That feels like the worst decision anyone can make with the money at this point.
They're heading towards demise 25% faster than they were at the beginning of
Like
the season.
yeah, no, then just don't.
Yep.
Anyways, in other gaming news,
In other gaming news.
Square Enix delayed a couple titles, a couple big titles.
Oh, really?
Um, the Final Fantasy VII remake has been delayed from early March to early April. So from March 3rd to April 4th.
Oh, really?
Which is
That's just a month. It's
yeah,
not.
that's not bad.
That's not development time. That's probably marketing time.
No, they said they wanted time for extra polish.
Right,
Um,
right. Which is their way of saying marketing.
but also I kind of hate that because it makes April into a fucking gut punch of a month, especially for me personally. Because on PlayStation they have like, oh, pre-order this game, pre-order that game. I was looking at some of those. The first week of April, Resident Evil 3 comes out. The
Mm-hmm.
second week is the Final Fantasy VII remake. The third week is Cyberpunk. I don't know what the fourth week is, but right there, that's three rather large games.
Yeah.
Um, but also they delayed the Avengers game uh,
Oh.
to September, and I'm trying to find out when it was meant to come out originally. But I know that is a delay of several months,
Yeah.
which that makes more sense because that sort of didn't have a good showing. And I think the more time they have to work on that will only benefit it.
Mm-hmm. And I'm looking for
If oh, for
more
May,
news.
from May 15th to September 4th. So yeah, middle of the month to middle of the year to end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Which hey, good on them. I don't know what to expect from that game, but you know, give it all the time you need to make it good. You don't want another Anthem on your hands. Granted, it's a different publisher, but you know, delay games, delay
Mm-hmm.
things. It's okay to delay them and make them better,
Yeah.
unless they're just so fucked that you have to bite the bullet. But like, I don't think that game is that messed up. It didn't show well, but that had at E3, but that had more to do with how it was presented than the actual game. So yeah,
Yeah.
I wish him luck.
I'm trying to find anything else that is news. And pretty much
There's
my
actually
news
a
feed is nothing but GameStop's in big trouble from a
yeah.
bunch of different sources.
There's a documentary on YouTube about the making of Outer Wilds.
Oh, really?
The not the Bethesda S game Outer Worlds. This is the my game of the year.
You're right. The one
The the
with
cosmic puzzle mystery
puzzle
game.
game where you only have 20 minutes at a time to get something done.
Yes. Um, and so I'm really looking forward to watching that because that game is fucking amazing.
Yeah. So have you heard from Gully? How sick is he?
No,
If
I just heard
Sharon's
he
still
was
watching,
sick.
Sharon, how sick is Goalie?
The only thing
Uh,
is, Nick, you awake? Nick, you awake?
well, no, Sharon was in the chat room and said I sounded terrible. I
Oh.
get. Hopefully, my voice is more normal now.
Yeah, I don't have much other news either.
Yeah.
It's still beginning of the year, fairly slow
Hmm.
news week.
So, what you gonna play this week?
Death Stranding.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna pick it
Uh,
up. I think I'm gonna. I shouldn't because I just don't have the money right now. But I think I'm gonna pick it up.
it will definitely go on sale later on.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I'm trying to think if there's something else I would like to play. I I think of going back to Hollow Knight. I started playing that briefly before I started playing Death Stranding, and I'd
Hmm.
like to go back to it. But Death Stranding is sort of my hey, let's pop this in, play for a couple hours, and then leave.
You know what I
Um,
gotta finish? I have got to finish Detroit Become Human. I never finished
oh
it. It's
yeah,
been sitting there. It's just I've been distracted. I've been watching. I've run out of everything on YouTube. I have run out that I want to watch. I've run out of everything on Amazon Prime. I want to. So now I'm at YouTube and I'm watching YouTube on my television. So
okay, maybe
there is a really. I didn't know this. YouTube. YouTube is making their own originals like Netflix originals, but they're
yeah.
YouTube originals. And I didn't know this and came across one about the boy bands. Who was the name of the guy that was the manager and essentially the creator of NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, who
Um,
ended up going to jail and dying in prison for scamming old people out of their money to support his boy bands and everything else. Um, God, I can't remember what his name is. Anyway, there is an amazing video that is, I think it's an hour and a half. So it's like a movie and it's a documentary about this guy and the making of the boy bands. And then it's like the rise and fall of their manager. And it's actually made by Lance Bass Productions.
hmm.
And it's really, really good. He gets a lot of people to talk about things that happened that may or may not be true, and then talk to the FBI and about their investigation and how they captured him when he ran away when the cops he knew that the FBI was after him for bank fraud and a Ponzi scheme, and he took off to Bali and he'd hidden himself because he'd flown a bunch of places so they couldn't track him, and it's a really, really good video. If you've got, and if you want to watch a movie and you don't want to watch something on Netflix, the YouTube originals, I think it was like Boy Band Scams or something. Can't remember what it was,
Okay.
but yeah, it's really good. And the nice thing about these YouTube originals is they're hour and a half long movies. There we go, Boy Band Con. Lou Pearlman, that's it is the Boy Band Con, the Lou Pearlman story. The nice thing about these YouTube originals is because they're sponsored by YouTube, no ads popping up that you have to skip.
Hmm.
It's just hour and a half. You forget you're actually watching YouTube. It feels like you're watching Netflix.
Ever since I got that Hulu and we started watching that, it's been interesting, like seeing ads again, just realizing, oh, right, this was a thing. Yeah,
Commercial breaks. I
commercials.
know.
Yeah, because it's been so much time watching uh, HBO Go and Amazon Prime and Netflix,
Yep.
and now it's like, oh, right. But it's still better than watching regular TV because even on Hulu, it's like, oh, here, let's take a minute and a half break. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I'm fine with that.
I've been watching the presidential debates, but since
Why?
my because
No,
they're important,
not
and
at this
I'm a
point.
political wonk. I'm a total political
Okay, that
wonk.
makes more sense. They're not important at this point.
Yeah, they are.
Not
Oh
really.
God, yes. Oh my God, yes, they are.
I guess the more
You don't
important.
really get how
Okay, the more
like the
important
side
now.
eye, like the news and stuff don't talk about like all the details of the side eyes and the little things that are said where and the reactions that you can see in somebody's face when somebody fucks up. It's awesome.
So
Or
okay,
yeah.
I will give it to you. This is at least a debate taking place in an election year. All the other
Yeah.
previous debates have been kind of pointless, I think.
No, it's I mean, actually the early stage when you had a field of 12 people, which was almost impossible to have a good
Yeah, that's
debate.
dumb.
But you got an idea of some of the when you have 12 people, at least 5 of them are just whack jobs. Like I should say any degrees of out there to total whack job. Like the Williamson
Oh yeah, Marielle.
Marianne Williamson.
Yeah.
Oh, she was way out there. And then Andrew Yang was kind of like, all right, you're a little unconventional. I'm surprised he lasted as long as he did. Tulsi Gabbard sounded like she was right gonna be right up there. Never did she didn't even make it as far as Andrew Yang did. Tom Steyer, he's a little on the outside. He's kind of, but then I'm starting to see these people that I had never heard of. I should say not heard of, but I would never considered that were a viable candidate. All of a sudden, it's like, I'm actually kind of liking her. Not, I mean, we all know Bernie Sanders. We all know Elizabeth Warren. We all know
Hmm.
Joe Biden. These debates are an opportunity for you to be introduced to, and even now we kind of know Pete Buttigieg, but like, what's her name from Minnesota? Oh, fuck her name. What's her Minnesota? President. I can't. I'm having a
Like Kolbach.
no. Klobuchar. Amy
Yeah,
Klobuchar. Yes,
Klobuchar.
Amy Klobuchar.
Klobach.
As I'm watching her debate over debate, I'm kind of liking her.
Hmm.
She's not she's not whack job out there like I shouldn't say whack job out there. She's not extreme like Warren and Sanders, but she's not too business as usual like Biden, who honestly, especially in the early on, it was like, ooh, you're not even trying. You're did somebody give you a lot of fucking cold medicine before you went on this? Because you don't have your shit together for a debate. Um, and Buttigieg, I kind of want to like him, but I
You
don't
don't
know that
have to.
I don't know that he has the bona fides.
You don't have
But
to
then
like him.
Amy
It's fine not to
Klobuchar,
like
the
him.
more that I hear Amy Klobuchar start talk, more the more I'm actually kind of warming to her. She kind of seems to have her shit together. So that's why I watch these. Anyway, I've been watching because I literally don't have broadcast television, even though we pay for DirecTV. Our DirecTV um, is kind of fucked up. My box is kind of fucked up. I haven't
Get
bothered to
that
get a new one.
fixed.
No, I haven't
Yeah.
bothered to get a new one because it's like why? I don't even I didn't even know it was fucked up because I haven't watched
No.
television in so long until I went to the debates. So now I've just been watching the debates on my television via the CNN app on my Samsung Smart TV.
Hmm.
And they have their computer or their commercial breaks. But we get like one or two commercials and
Yeah.
then it's just like, music or ads for CNN or something. And it makes you realize when it's not actual commercial programming, how long commercials are on regular television. Because it's
Yeah.
like literally, I go up, I go to the bathroom, I go make myself a drink, I come back, I check my phone, I check my email, and it's like, oh, and now it starts. It's like, wow,
Not only that,
are these really that long?
I remember the fucking like tricks they pull of like, okay, generally I know if it's a commercial for a show on the same channel, that's probably the show is going to start next. But then it doesn't. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
you motherfuckers! I came back because I thought it was gonna be back on, and then you show me another commercial. You assholes!
Yeah. Yeah.
And what
Eh,
is nice about the Hulu thing is it has a countdown. So it's like, here's
Oh,
a minute and a half counting down.
that's
So I can
nice.
see exactly. And sometimes it's actually a fun game that I can play. Was like, oh, I got 30 seconds left. How many commercials can they fit in that time? Two. And then it's like, here's a 10-second one. And it'll say, oh, you were able to fit three in there. Impressive. But it's like the countdown is nice just to see exactly how long until the show comes back.
Yep. All right, so we've literally run out of things to say, and we were going out of politics.
Yes.
So that says
Yes.
it's time to leave. All right. So, anything else you need to add before or pimp before you close out the show?
No.
Don't want to pimp your
No.
book?
Oh, yeah. I wrote a short story, Blood and Blasphemy. It's in the anthology, Blood and Blasphemy. You can get it on Amazon. I wrote a short story in it.
Mm-hmm.
Go buy
Do
it.
you have an Amazon page,
I do actually.
an author page?
Yeah.
Do you
I need
really?
to. I need to. I think I need to send them an email because if I remember correctly, it was difficult. Getting it was like a catch-22 because the only book I was credited for was not showing up. Um, and now I have an author page, and on that page, I'm linked to the book. But if you go to the book and you click on the authors, there is no link to my author page.
Yeah. In fact, I just did an Amazon search on Nick DiNicola,
Mm-hmm.
and all I got was Dead Kansas, which is a
Okay.
video that apparently looks like it might have somebody named Nick DiNicola that stars in it from 2013.
Okay.
And then Historic Images, 1985 press photo, Nick, Laura, and Kathleen DeNicola with dog Chauncey and James.
Okay.
I think it meant 1895. No, that's 1985. Yeah. There you go. There it is. So it looks like Nick. There you go. Nick DeNicola. James, Dad. Oh, there's Nick. Little Nick. Here he is. Little Nick.
Wait, what? Where?
Little Nick. See?
Oh,
James Marshall seen with dog Chauncey. So there's Dad James. There's Chauncey. Or there's James. There's Dad. There's Nick. There's Mom. And Laura, I guess, is over here.
that's very confusing.
There's Nick getting licked. But it's identical. I have no idea why somebody would be. They're press photos from the archives of the Oregonian. I have no idea why that would be for sale. But yeah, I do a search on Nick DiNicola and you don't show up at all. Dead Kansas. How did you get? I'm not quite sure why Dead Kansas is showing up for you. So yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to send them another
But yeah, Pimp, your book is
email.
available on Amazon. Amazon. It is not available on Kindle. It is paperback right now only, and
Oh, really?
I believe it's on paperback only, and it's like
No, it's
$11.
available on Kindle.
It is.
Yeah.
It wasn't originally, so they must have just released the Kindle version. And it is called Blood and Blasphemy. It's a short story anthology. Nick has one of them, and his short story is called
Baptismal scars.
Baptismal Scars. So feel free to, if you're looking for something to read, that's a great way to start. It's all full of horror stories, and Nick's is apparently Lovecraftian cult.
Really?
Did you say love? I thought you said it was Lovecraftian.
Oh, no.
No, okay, it's just a story about a cult.
No. Yeah.
All right, so on that note, let's close this out. You've been listening to GameHounds, GameHounds episode 529. We recorded this on Wednesday, January 15th, 2020. I've been Edie Sellers, and with me has been Nick Dunicola and nobody else. And everybody in the chat room. Ways to get a hold of us, gamehounds.net is our website. Gamehounds at gmail.com is our email. We record this show live, both in audio and video. Audio, we are on Spreaker. That's speaker with an R, Spreaker.com. We record this Wednesdays, 9 a.m., 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. Go to Spreaker, and if you want to watch us on video, we do this live on video, video stream. We have a video stream that is sponsored by our very own, to our listeners, Michael Underwood and Terry Sweeten. Thank you so much as our Patreon subscribers. If you would like to be a Patreon subscriber, we'd appreciate it. Go to patreon.com/gamehounds. But we are on YouTube with our video stream. GameHounds vids, and also on Facebook streaming. We are on the GameHounds on Facebook. GameHounds Facebook page is the GameHounds, and it has lots of news throughout the week that is lovingly curated by our very own Steve M. Hawk Ortegon, our piss boy. And every link that we have mentioned, both in the Spreaker feed, the YouTube feed, and the Facebook feed, so I guess all three, not both, has all the links of everything that we've talked about, has been provided by our very own link bitch, AC Ray. Thank you so much for putting those links so that we could link them on in our chat. So if there's anything you can't find by Googling, just come to our comment section on any of those places and find them. Nick, we'll see you next week. Goalie, I hope, if you're listening, I hope you are feeling better, and we will be hopefully seeing you next week. And join us next week. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Say bye, Shepard. No,
Bye, Shepard.
He was looking over here briefly.
All right. And we are almost out. And audio is out. Video is still on. All right. I got nothing to say to you. Hey, Shepard. Shepard.
Yep, that's what we named them after.
I know. In fact, somebody, I can't remember who, it's just on the tip of my tongue. One of our listeners had a cat. I think it was a cat named Garrus.
That's a pretty good cat name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think Garrus passed away, if I recall. I could be wrong. I mean, I'm just remembering. It's like one of those, like, way in the back of my head. Kevin wants a puppy. I really am.
Why don't you split the difference and get like a dog a couple years old?
Oh, we've had a dog a couple years old. Last two dogs were a couple years old. We had a 1-year-old, and we don't know how old this one was, but I'm figuring he was 1.
Mm-hmm.
So we've already had 2 rescues. And I mean, I've fostered puppies, so familiar with.
That might be a better route to go. Just if he wants puppies specifically.
We're not buying a puppy. Oh no.
Okay.
That is evil. No. We would adopt a puppy from either a rescue or the pound.
Oh well, yeah, but I mean, if he's looking for a puppy specifically, it might be better to foster.
He's not. Oh yeah, we are looking for a puppy specifically, but Kevin wants to adopt a puppy.
Okay.
Because he wants to have the puppy experience, because all of our dogs have come to us.
Has he never had a puppy before?
He's never had a puppy before.
Okay, that would be fun. That would be fun.
Yeah. He's never had a puppy, and he's only had 2 dogs. The 2 dogs we have had, the one who just recently died, and the one we have. Those are the only 2 dogs he's ever had in his life.
Okay.
So, and he's like, he's still grieving over the dead dog, but he's said he wants a puppy, and it's like,
do it.
A lot of fucking work.
Oh yeah.
Lot of work. And if you
We make a
consider,
spin-off podcast, Game Pups.
we are the game hounds for a reason. Um, and here's the thing: if you consider it, this next puppy I will have until I am 65 years old at least.
Mm-hmm.
I will be well into getting Social Security when this dog comes. When this dog, like, for this dog. And it is very hard to move if you have a dog.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I can
Yes,
stay in
yes, I know
California.
that.
Yeah. And I don't know that I can stay in California if I'm, you know, if we've got dogs. I mean, like Mo, we're going to have to move long distances. There's no way we can stay in California during my retirement. It's
Mm-hmm.
too expensive.
Oh, yeah.
So, even though I own a house, which keeps that cost low, everything else is more expensive, including healthcare, which, of course, is what you need when you get older. So, we're going to have
Mm-hmm.
to move somewhere else, maybe not even in the country.
Mm.
Um, yeah. So,
You'll be podcasting. We're starting the podcast at 9:30 a.m. next time.
that's right. It's going to be middle of the
3
night
a.m. in the
in,
morning,
in
East
Indonesia or
time.
Thailand. Yeah, I'm going to be doing. Assalamualaikum. Yeah, no, I'm going to be out in somewhere else. Maybe in Vietnam. Who knows?
I've
Wherever
heard
it's
the money
cheapest.
can stretch there. That's for
Oh,
sure.
money can definitely stretch. If I took California money there, I'd be okay. So
I'd be a king.
I'd be a king. All right. So you'll be getting
Hey,
you'll be getting nosebleeds naturally without the aid of sticks. You're such a dick. Yeah, I take so much abuse from our chat room. Although I noticed that the snake pit hasn't been quite so snaky lately, it's nice to know you got the snake pits back, AC. So yeah, and live on Pluto. Yeah.
it's an app. He's talking about how he
Oh,
watches
and
stuff.
live on Pluto. Okay. Oh, I watched Tubi movies on Tubi and Vudu recently, and live on Pluto. Not heard any of those apps. I'm a little disappointed with the amount of apps that are available on Samsung television. There are some notably missing ones that I wish they had.
Yeah.
I really wish they had Crunchyroll. They do not have Crunchyroll.
Oh, the Roku has a pretty good selection. Although the one thing I miss is there's no Twitch.
Hmm.
There used to be like an unofficial Twitch app, but then something happened and they took it down.
Do you have a smart TV or just a regular TV?
Smart TV.
I would. So, which smart TV do you have?
Roku. It's a Roku TV.
Oh, a Roku is embedded in the TV because I can actually hook up the Roku to my TV, so I can either use the Samsung or the Roku,
Yeah.
or you can always watch it through your PlayStation.
Yeah, but that just requires a lot more setup.
No, it doesn't. You just start up your PlayStation, then go through Twitch. Go play Twitch. That's
Yeah,
that's
that's an extra level of startup. I could just start up the TV. I start up the TV and then I start up the app, or I start up the TV, I start up the PlayStation, and I start up the app. That's an extra
Oh, I'm talking about
level of
Twitch.
startup. Yeah,
Right. But you don't have the app. Does Roku have it? You said it didn't have the Twitch app.
not on the TV. And so if I'm
I have
complaining
no
about the
idea what you're
time,
saying.
I'm complaining about the time it takes to start an app on the TV. I turn on the TV, then I turn on the app.
Right.
To start an app on the PlayStation, I turn on the TV, turn on the PlayStation, turn on the app.
Okay.
It's an
Because in
extra step of turning something on.
right, but in my case, I cannot get Crunchyroll on my smart TV, so I
Well, yeah,
have
that's
to.
unfortunate.
Right, I have to, and it's not that big a deal. If I want to watch Crunchyroll, I watch it through PlayStation,
Uh-huh.
or actually, I watch it. I tend to watch it through the Xbox One because it is a little bit easier to navigate. So, all right, I'm gonna go eat,
Okay.
and I will talk to you Later. AC Wraith, by the way, AC Ray, just a shout out to everybody on the chat room. Barbara was here. Hey, Barbara, how you doing? AC Wraith, we had Pissed, we had Sharon, we had Donnie. Who else was in here? If I missed you, I'm sorry. But yeah, thank you for joining us in the chat room. And hey, if you are watching this and you actually sat through the 2 hours and 4 minutes of this whole thing, please join us next week on YouTube or Facebook. We would love to have you. And the GameHounds vids on Facebook. Sorry, GameHounds vids on YouTube and the GameHounds on Facebook. We do this every Wednesday. We'd love to have you and abuse us.
I
Just
just was reading the old chat, and
what?
AC Wraith said, I apparently had an unknown, I think he means pest. I
Yes.
apparently had an unknown pest die this morning. We caught a mouse. I heard it struggling in the trap. Turns out it crawled under a stove to try to set up a gas explosion to take us all out.
I actually read that at the very beginning of the stream. You know, when you were supposed to be
Yeah,
here, but you were
yeah,
sleeping in. So, all right, go
that's
take a
good.
shower and go to work, dude.
I
Go get
will.
some coffee.
Ah, yes, I need some.
All right. And everyone, chat room, thank you so much. Talk to you next week. Bye.